This strange-looking creature was a female fish-like being. It had a body structure similar to a human, and I had already been trapped on this isolated island for many years. Long-term loneliness slowly broke my reason. In the end, I crossed a line with this creature. But everything started many years earlier. That was during wartime. I was a meteorologist assigned to a remote island near Antarctica for long-term climate observation. This island was completely cut off from the outside world. An old captain brought me to the weather station. The plan was to hand over duties with the previous meteorologist, but when we entered the room, we saw only decay and ruin. It was obvious no one had lived there for a long time. To find out what happened, the old captain took me to the only place on the island where someone still lived. That was a lighthouse, but it felt less like a lighthouse and more like a defensive fortress. Sharp spikes covered the walls. Everything there seemed to warn that something dangerous existed on the island. After meeting the lighthouse keeper, this unkempt old man told me the truth. The previous meteorologist had died from illness. Even the body had been taken away by the sea. After hearing this, the old captain urged me to leave with him, but I was already exhausted by the war outside. I chose to stay on the island. I did not realize this decision was the beginning of a nightmare. When night fell, I reorganized the room. Inside an old journal, I found a woman's wedding photo. At that moment, there was a knock at the door. I thought it was the lighthouse keeper next door, so I went to open it. The next second, from the crack in the door, a dark and twisted hand reached inside. I instinctively stepped on it. Sensing something was wrong, I turned and ran, hiding in the cellar. Through the gaps in the wooden boards, I saw a pair of eyes that were not human. I reacted fast and struck out with my knife. The creature withdrew. That night, I stayed curled up in the cellar, barely sleeping. The next day, as the sun rose, I stepped outside. The ground was covered in countless footprints. Only then did I understand. The spikes around the lighthouse were built to defend against these creatures. I immediately went to find the lighthouse keeper, hoping to learn what was really happening. But all I got was a closed door. I had no one to rely on but myself. To stay alive, I reinforced the area outside my shelter and set up a trap using flammable materials. Everything was ready. I was prepared to fight for my life. When night fell again, I looked out the window and froze in place. What came was not one creature, but an entire group, driven into a corner. I pulled the trigger and emptied every bullet I had. At the moment they forced their way inside, I ignited the trap at the door. The creatures were pushed back, but the building caught fire as well. The flames burned through the entire night. When morning came, I had lost my only shelter. With nowhere else to go, I headed toward the lighthouse to seek refuge with the keeper. But what I never expected was that on the way there I came face to face with a female fish-like being.